Good morning, everyone. I am Laura Tassinari Zugni, the Director of Internationalization of Lazio Innova, the regional company that supports innovation processes for business in the Lazio region, contributing to the strengthening of a connected and increasingly international ecosystem. Welcome to the first Global Innovators for Sustainable Smart Culture meeting, because we will have 4 of them. Organized in this incredible setting, the Maker Faire of Rome, to whom I extend my thanks. Furthermore, I wish to thank the investors from all over the world who are here present with us. My appreciation goes to the Italian Trade Agency, our partner, for their help. I wish also to extend my gratitude to the startups and all our panelists who today will be connected with Rome from all over the globe. This meeting is an important opportunity for sharing. It aims to provide you with the opportunity to become active protagonists of a path we strongly believe in, one of the smart, sustainable culture. An occasion to reflect and co-design together how to boost the prospects which cultural heritage and smart land offer, aspects in which the Lazio region has invested a lot in recent years. Through this format, we will involve makers, companies, investors, and innovators to help design ideas for the sustainable future of our territories through increasingly intelligent and connected cultural assets. Today, we will share ideas together. We will get to know each other, and we will share opportunities amongst us and with our international investors, a rich program that my colleague Riccardo Panunzio will illustrate in detail. This is just the beginning. Whoever wants can join our mission and continue together with the other smart communities of storytellers and gamers, whom we will meet in the next 4 weeks. I wish you all a profitable meeting. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. If we can go on with my presentation. Okay. Is it going? Yeah. Okay, so Global Innovators for Culture. I'll quickly go over the proceedings. So we'll have a series of inspirational talks which set the scene and the scenery of what we mean by global innovators for smart, sustainable culture. Then we're going to have a small brainstorming, moderated debate with a sharing session amongst us. So you're more than welcome to place questions, both with the speakers and amongst yourselves. And then we're going to have a speed networking session. There'll be something to drink and to eat. And we hope we'll start a lot of connections that way. So I'll start off with the mission, what we mean and why we're here. Sustainable smart land. Okay, so our objective, our aim is to connect smart communities of innovators in order to create what we can call a sustainable smart land, and I'll give definitions as we go along, by leveraging cultural heritage assets. We all know how important they are and how usually they're not as valorized or as they could be, and that is our aim. So the first part is smart communities. So you're here because we consider you a smart community. We want to go from what is a number of people to an actual network, because a network together can produce much more than in the single. So how to create a sustainable territory is, we believe, something which can be achieved by connecting innovators. In another sense, connection is another important word which we carry forward. And that is with reference to smart culture. So what we envisage is going from sites or cultural heritage sites, single sites, to actual assets which are shared and produce an economic benefit and impact to the community. We believe that they should be related to each other and connected to each other. And another important aspect is connected with data. We have to have some form of measurement, which only data can provide us. Smart land. What we mean is going from what is a location or a single location to what is actually, or what will become, or we hope will become, thanks to your support, an actual living body. So we are looking to connect the single dots on the map and make sure that they have the possibility of creating a greater competitiveness and attractiveness as a territory as a whole. Okay, so the aim, the goal is to go from a journey to an experience. Okay, so we're talking about cultural heritage, and we're using them as a leverage, cultural and heritage sites, and they have a number of problems. We all know polarization is the first one. Rome has the hugest problem is the Colosseum. Everybody goes there, but they don't go anywhere else. So polarization is a problem which is similar and which every territory suffers. Okay. Heritage, as it stands now, is effectively analogic. Okay, there are very few audiovisual guides, very little data, not enough has been digitalized and is not available to everyone. Really, we're at 0.5. If we want to be at 2.0, maybe 0.1 as far as culture is connected to digitalization. So that's where we are. It's disconnected. The museum exists per se and as alone. So we have to bring that into the economic framework. And also there's a lack of data. That's what we need. Big data is what we would love, but that's a lack of data, and that's what we need in order to understand and develop further. So I wanted to share what we see as a vision. This is an old video, but it's a vision which shows, I'd like you to see it as seeing something which is connected, which is not just special effects, but is something which is more looking towards the smart land, which I talked about now. Okay, so that's a vision. And we thought to go to what we consider the most interesting innovators in the world, which are not just innovators in a strict sense, they're hybrid innovators. So we're talking to makers, storytellers, and gamers. And we want to unite them together to design and co-design new ideas in order to put into action this this vision which we have of a smart, sustainable culture. We have 3 meetings. The first one is a Maker Faire here. We're going on to next week at MIA, the Audiovisual International Business Market. And then we have Rome Video Game Lab in November. So we're going to the gamers in that sense. So what we're looking for is your point of view, is the makers' point of view, because makers are good at making, executing, and connecting. So that's what we would like very much to harness from your potential. So now I'll be giving over the floor to Tomas Diez, who will be talking about Fab City and his foundation and the foundation. And I really was looking there something which touched circularity and sustainability. Their program is a really interesting one. Following that, we'll have Fiorella Vanini from the Prince Sultan University, and she will be touching on a work which they'll be doing with the students in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, which actually we see as a potential for connecting places. Then Ondřej will be, Ondřej Kašpárek will be helping us on a view of looking at how the popularization of Fab Labs can actually improve and provide further tools to the citizens. Daniela Reggio will be looking back in time and sharing her views and her knowledge on history and how this can teach us many lessons. And Enrico Bassi will be, who's here present, will be talking about how how they are valorizing some industrial sites. I've given hashtag reclaiming. I hope he doesn't, he's not offended by that. So now I'm very pleased to give the floor over to Tomas. I hope you can hear me. And this is the moment, inshallah.
Apa kabar, Riccardo? Thank you. How are you? And thank you once again for the invitation. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, perfectly. Go ahead.
Okay, fantastic. So hello from Jakarta, Indonesia. I'm supposed to be in Bali, but I have to come for some embassy emergencies to Jakarta, and we'll be back to Bali on the ground operations for the Fab Fest, the Bali Fab Fest, which is starting next Wednesday. So it is my pleasure to share for the next, I understand, around 10 minutes. Correct me if I'm wrong, 10, 12 minutes?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Our work in Fab City Foundation, but also I would like also to talk a little bit about what we're starting to do in Bali and other places in the world and other places in Indonesia. Apologies. So a little bit about myself. I've been about, I'm from Venezuela. I come from the urban design education. I come from, from a kind of a way of looking at cities from the top-down vision in my formal education. And for the last 15 years, I've been working, or maybe 16 years, I've been working very closely with the Fab Lab Barcelona, not only working with it, but actually establishing it in 2007 as the first Fab Lab in the European Union, inside the Institute for Advanced Architecture of Catalonia. And since the last 2 years, I'm now in Bali, in Indonesia, relocated. Let me share with you a few, then later on screen, so I can share with you some. Can you please allow me to share my screen if
Yes, okay.
Yes. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about how we got here and maybe some ways to exemplify part of our work. But as many of you know, and maybe some others not, for over the last 2 decades, Fab Labs have been developed around the world in an organic way. This is an outreach program of the Center for Bits and Atoms at MIT in collaboration with the National Science Foundations of the United States. That's how it started, actually setting up the first lab across the river in Greater Boston, when a social activist and political leader, Mel King, and Neil Gershenfeld put their brains together to set up a digital fabrication facility that would be the first Fab Lab in the world across the outside of MIT. So this was at the Southend Technology Center, which was mainly an African American community, and with a high index of dropouts, with people with the lack of opportunities to have access to the top world universities where maybe some of the richest people in the world were attending, right? So in a way, Fab Labs were motivated about from the very beginning to create access to tools, as the Whole Earth Catalog publication would put it, no? So yes.
We heard everything you said. You can try now to share your screen if you want.
Fantastic. So this is great because give me a great pause to say
we can
this is 20 years after, right? So out of that lab from the Southern Technology Center and many other stories, other few labs started to be created in many locations, starting in remote locations. One of the first notions of Fab Labs is that they could bring technology to rural areas, and that will support farmers and people disconnected from the big cities to maybe to satisfy their own needs and create local supply chains. No, what's not anticipated was that these labs were going to grow so fast and so spread. No, and what it started what it was thought to be Fab Labs in the outside cities started to actually change this approach, and a lot of the labs started to be created inside the city centers. No, so they became also part of many universities, many government plans. Even some labs are created as not as accessible as the rest of the network, but with internal access policy following the same protocols of a Fab Lab network, but inside large companies like Saint-Gobain, Renault, or Airbus. No, so fast forward, after looking at the growth of this network, and also by trying to understand how the digital technologies were spreading so rapidly around the world, again, and for the last 2 or 3 decades, there was also like a kind of anticipation, and still is there, on how the logics of Fab Labs can have implications at the larger scale, right? Like how we can start to think about the changing the way in which we make things, we produce things, but not only in a small prototyping spaces like Fab Labs, but start to kind of extrapolate the scale of the labs and started to look at what if a city, a region, an entire country starts to develop policies to really relocalize production towards where things are consumed. No, so that's somehow in a very kind of a organic way how the Fab City Global Initiative was created, no, or was born. Now the Fab City Global Initiative, which is basically trying to set up an agenda for the Fab Lab network and engage the potential of the Fab Lab network to develop innovations, prototype solutions, engage with citizens, how not only limited to the creation of technologies or the technology experimentation, but actually how they can also commit to contribute somehow or to be part of addressing some of the biggest challenges that we have today. Starting from the small scale, but also with the with the planetary scale implications that the digital connectivity brings to us. So in this sense, basically what we can see is that the potential of exchanging information that happens on a small scale between Fab Labs. For instance, I can now send you whatever digital design, and you can make it locally in Italy. And I don't need to put it in a shipping container. How that can happen also at the larger scale, and also how this innovation in technology can be used also to transform the local energy systems, the local food supply chains, the way in which manage water, how we create our own networks of information, et cetera, et cetera. So that's why we're looking at the Fab City Global Initiative. Today, there are 41 cities that are the members of these global efforts, including small cities, medium cities, including regions, entire regions, and also entire countries or even kingdoms. The Kingdom of Bhutan is part of the Fab City Global Initiative. So since I have only a few minutes, I want to use them also to not only explain the theoretical background of the Fab City Global Initiative, but also start to show some of the approaches that we are now developing here in Bali in the context of the event that is starting next week, which we are not using just a Fab Festival. Is an event as usually happens. It's actually an excuse to start a longer-term agenda on developing an open innovation ecosystem, not only in Bali but also in the rest of Indonesia. So in the context of the Fab Fest, we have the official. There will be an official announcement from the entire island of Bali, which would become part of a Fab City Global Initiative. So there is an existing digital transition program in Bali that we are supporting. There is also an interesting transition from the extractive tourism model to a more regenerative tourism model. There's going to be, I anticipate you, and I can, you will maybe see in some of you in the news in a few days' times or a couple of weeks, there will be a new policy from Indonesia to attract talent and to really become that place where people can come and make, learn, share, and help Indonesia to develop an alternative model of production.
Thomas,
this is really interesting. Yeah.
I'll just another minute. So I just wanted to give you the timing so you can go through. 1 minute to go.
Okay, that's quite short.
Okay, take 2 minutes. Don't worry.
Okay,
take your time.
So no problem. So basically, we want to support the local Balinese and Indonesian ecosystems to incorporate this new revolution on digital manufacturing, as we're doing and have been doing in Fab Labs and Fab Cities, supporting the craft type creatives that are already here, which are incredible and amazing. I've been coming for 10 years already, and I always ask myself if there is needed a Fab Lab really, because the capacity of crafts locally actually overcomes that. So it's like a strong heritage that we want to preserve. It's also, this is new business opportunities. This is a fast growing economy. There's a lot of enthusiasm. It's really, really alive, very young country. It's also surrounded by huge problems. You might see in the news very sad pictures of Bali in most cases, surrounded by waste and plastic, but also like establishing a very clear boundaries on how to respect the diversity and the local cultures, which is, I think, is a bit different from the kind of digital revolutions that we have had previously, or at least the kind of the risks that it represents. Now, if we look at how the digital revolutions in the communications and computation have been happening, I think there is a high risk of, first of all, like standardizing the way of living, which is very risky. Also exacerbating the risks of capitalism on augmenting the accumulation of power, control, and create more I would say, class difference, no? So we're going to do a series of steps. I'm going to skip them. And there is already an amazing ecosystem in Bali of innovators, local innovators, local craftsmen, people very advanced in technology. So there's a lot to learn from Bali and from Indonesia. And then we want to create these conditions for this place to become that kind of a Southeast Asia hub to welcome many cultures and to definitely develop a new approach to technology and innovation, focus on the Fab Lab and Fab City ideas, but also incorporating a lot of the local heritage. So with this, I think, Riccardo, better I stop. And as I said before, I might be disconnecting for some minutes and I will come back for the discussion.
Thank you very much, Tomas. Really appreciate it. I understand that the timing isn't the best in the world, so I really appreciate it. Now I'll give the floor over to Fiorella Vanini, who is the Sustainable Architecture Lab Leader of the Prince Sultan University in Riyadh, for her experience and what she can bring on to the table. Thank you, Fiorella.
Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon.
We can hear you.
Yes, I'm trying to share my screen. Can you see?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning.
Great, Fiorella.
So good afternoon, everyone. I will speak together with Yosra Meskinar about the dimension of, let's say, smart sustainability in general in the Middle East, but specifically in Saudi Arabia. So when we discussed the topic with Riccardo, we decided to focus on smart mobility as a contribution for the development of smart land and the development of solar power vehicles as a maker project and its potential implication in connecting cultural heritage sites and matching sustainability tourism demand with supply. So today we are going to present with Yosra something that is really at the forehead of the debate here in Saudi Arabia. And to understand a bit the frame, because I guess that not everyone is familiar with the situation in the Middle East, I will be giving some general information about the context, and then Yosra is going to present a project. Yosra is a senior student. She has almost completed the program. And she has been involved in a student competition that she will be presenting later on, directly connected with the topic. And so she will be the maker in this case. So speaking about the background, as you know, the MENA region is really wide. So we have countries from Morocco until Pakistan. And those countries are really, really different for several points of view: social, economical, cultural. If we go closer to consider the region, we identify one main aspect, which is a religious aspect, where we can divide the Muslim population between two main bodies. The one that is referring to Sunni and the one that is referred to, let's say there are two components. In general, the Muslims are predominant in all those countries. So another common feature is the availability of the resources. So as you can see here from both the charts, all reserves are really huge in those countries, and the two richest one are Saudi Arabia and Iran. Saudi Arabia underwent I would say drastical change starting from 2016 when it was announced a programmatic document titled Saudi Vision 2030. The document is a political manifesto, and it strongly let's say target architecture and urban planning as a tool to shape the future of the Saudi society. The document basically decline the action plan in the built environment according to some main direction. One point is related to the giga projects. I will be speaking in a while. Another point is tourism, whether it's religious tourism or not, and entertainment. The third point is infrastructure and mobility, where we have Riyadh Metro project, the railway station, and so on. The third point is to improve the quality of the built environment. So there are plenty of projects that are related to the existing built environment. And then we have the last point, which is education for the next generation, where we have the establishment of the Saudi Commission for Architecture and Design, the use of mass media, and the activity of the universities, where basically me and Yosdra operate. Me as instructor, not only as a lab leader, and Yosdra as a student and active participant of several projects. Now, when this political manifesto was issued, the situation in Saudi Arabia was really, really different than the other countries. Why? Because as you can see from this graph, the percentage of foreigner in comparison to the percentage of Saudis is lower. And this opened the way to a sequence of decisions that were taken by the government related to economy and social customs. While in the rest of the countries, you see that in the peninsulas, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and Emirates, they have almost the same percentage between foreigners and locals. And in the Emirates, the foreigners are even more than the locals. So one of the targets of the Saudi Vision 2030 was to promote independence from the oil reserve. Why? Because all the world is going in a direction where we hope to be, let's say, free from this, we would say tyranny. Right now in Europe, we are having this bad effect of the war, which is not only about oil, but other kind of resources, and all of us, we are deeply affected by it. So even though the resources are available, but definitely the Saudi government knows that these resources, once they will not be a demand anymore, they will not be attractive. So even for the economy, the local economy, is not good to be so much dependent. So as I was telling to you, one of the main action was to increase the employability rate of the Saudi. And so it was initiated a process of Saudization, where basically companies can have points if they hire Saudis. If you can see here, there are different kind of points, and there is a different credential here on the right side, according if you hire a male, a female, the percentage on the overall higher population, and so on. Another point was to give the driving license to women. So definitely this empower women to be more independent. And so even from this point of view, to take a commitment of having an independent work and to cut the cost of having a driver for the family, the driver who usually took care about the family life. Another point
Fiorella?
was to, yes.
I think if we could just come to a wrap up, I think you've been.
Can I just
yes,
give
yes, do
2 minutes
continue.
to Yosdra to present the project, because I think it's very interesting.
No. That's why I wanted to give the space to the project.
Okay, so just to summarize, because I want Yosdra to speak, basically there are 4 giga projects that are Roche, which is almost residential, the Red Sea development projects, Kidia, Neom. All those 4 projects can be defined by some common hashtags: sustainability, sustainable development, smart city, and smart mobility. And this is related to the entertainment sector. Entertainment and tourism, in the case of Saudi Arabia, are directly connected. Then another point is the religious tourism. So what is performed to the holy sites during Umrah or Hajj, or for example, when Muslim decide to visit Medina or other religious sites. And then the last point is the cultural tourism. Everyone knows there is a very famous example because it's been promoted a lot even around the world, which is Alula site and the Winter in Tantura festival. And everyone knows that tourist visa now is available to everyone. It's very cheap and very easy to obtain. Almost every country, there is a list of countries that is still not allowed, but almost every country. And so you can buy a package, a touristic package, exactly like every other country. But as you can see here, the experience category is listed by nature, culture, and adventure. So culture, it's really becoming an economical asset. I go very quickly to Yosra so she can take the words, and Yosra, it's your time.
Yes, thank you very much. I also remind everyone that your presentation will be made available after, so we can have a look at it in more detail. Thank you very much.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Try to keep it within 3 minutes because we're over time. Thank you.
All right, no problem. So actually our university, they encourage us to pursue a lot of hands-on learning outside the classroom. So we participated in the Student Sustainability Club, which we formed teams in. And this project actually reflected on the idea of how we could provide a unique tourism experience in protected areas similar to a case study Dr. Fiorella can move next onto. Doctor, could you please move on to the next slide, kindly? Okay, so as you can see here, this was a case study in one of the top tourist attractions in Egypt, where they employed electric vehicles to protect the site. And it's also helped us envision what would be like to implement similar solutions in traditional and non-traditional ways in these cultural heritage sites. If we'd go to the next slide, kindly. So our project started back in April 2022. We formed 4 teams of females and a team of men. It was a 3-day challenge, a 3-day sprint where students were participated in different training and workshops so that we deliver this solar-powered prototype. And if we go to the next slide to show that within the 3 days, we started to build our second prototype using different fabrication technologies, which are available on 2 different labs on campus. And then we use those to implement different parts and different aspects of our project. If you go to the next slide, kindly. Yes, so the conclusion to the 3-day sprint was a race. We invited a jury panel from different colleges to judge the validity and the feasibility of different projects, and also the durability. And that concluded in a race in which our team won first place. But in this project, I'd also like to highlight the team diversity. So the importance of bringing interdisciplinary teams into different projects is really essential, because for us to have sustainable cities, sustainable smart cities, we definitely need interdisciplinary and people from different backgrounds, so that we have these resilient communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Azra. Excellent. So we've seen a wonderful example of smart mobility and how Fab Labs can be used for that. Now, I'll give the floor to Ondřej Kašpárek, who is the director of Make More in PrusaLab by PrusaResearch in Prague.
Hello,
Czech
guys.
Republic. Yes, I can hear
you.
you.
Hear me?
Yes.
Cool. So first of all, thanks a lot for the opportunity to be here and take a part of the panel. I'm working here in okay, maybe first of all, I can share my slides. So, and I'm representing the initiative of Make More, and we actually start to organizing the Maker Fairs in Czech Republic. So we start like 5 years ago, and it was just, I would like to say that it was surprising for us that all of a sudden in the main city there came 10,000 people on the first year. We didn't expect this and realized that the maker movement and all this ecosystem around is actually really attractive, and we can feel that this is the way how to promote new ways of education, but also the civic engagement and some kind of flourishing the creativity. Once we realized that it's something unique, we decided to share it and spread it into the regional cities. And after a couple of years, it's actually, we become quite unique on this national scale, that we are just a small organization organizing already 7 or 8 festivals during the year in such a small country as the Czech Republic. For us, is actually fascinating and exciting process, because we, as you know, maybe we're using this kind of snowball effects of researching the local makers, addressing those who probably have never have experience before to present and share the ideas, and cross this old tradition that many people in Czech Republic were usually makers in their home, but not sharing the outputs to public. We changed this tradition and set up this as a quite interesting event, which becomes quite popular. So this was the last 5 years, but and altogether there are we slowly become quite big event in Czech Republic in general, because we can address 30,000 visitors, and we actually don't call them visitors anymore, because we feel that there are makers as well. They could be the makers. So this is the way how we're thinking about such a phenomenon. But what I was really surprised, and I would like to share with you, is the tension in the small cities, that once we pack all the festivals and we usually meeting the people and the locals, and they are asking us, well, but should we wait like whole year once you come again? We want to do these hands-on activities more. We want to learn 3D print. We want to do the tinkering. We want to approach the technologies. We think that there are also some projects could be developed in such an atmosphere like you create in Maker Faire. And it was actually the small step to think about, well, okay, Maker Faire is the starting moment, but there should be some infrastructure where the people can follow. Because we're not feeling Maker Faire is just an event. We're using it as a policy advocacy tool. We usually meeting local governmental departments, either the youth or culture or education, when we try to address the deputies and really speak to them, showing them that this is the approach to STEM education, to fostering the creativity. I feel that there is this level of lobbying is quite important. So hence, in this fact, we start to think about the network of Fab Labs, basically. So right now, we are negotiating the conditions and trying to set up the local network to be able to help each other and foster and create this friendly environment, to be able to set up new workshops and maker spaces and so on. And I'm also partly working as a head of Fab Lab in the PrusaResearch. Maybe you know PrusaResearch as its producer of 3D printers, these desktop ones based in Prague, but already gathered enough knowledge to be able to share in these small towns and places to help to create the smart communities around the Fab Labs. We used to work as a Fab Lab really in a classical way. We used to have members, and a lot of them were changing constantly. So there was quite a growing community. But we then, what we realized that actually there are not, after the pandemic, we were not able to accept more and more people because we are still in the factory here. So we decided to switch. And instead of having opened the doors and accept everyone, we decided to choose those ones who already have some projects, to be able to push them a little bit more, to accelerate them, maybe to help them find some investors. And this model, we think it could be also transferred to the smaller cities, because in each city you can find some company who are either in terms of CSR activities or some other sponsorship, want to support the local community. So we try to develop some models could be followed afterwards, and showing on our work, showing what could Fab Lab actually bring, and how could be helpful in such a topics like environmental or health and care or renovation and stuff like this. But it slowly, what I want to illustrate is it slowly went to the point that we developed the acceleration program for hardware startups, which is not so common. Usually, you know, accelerators for businesses concerning like services or internet or network applications or whatever. But of course, developed physical projects are a little bit more difficult. So we start with the artistic projects and recycling projects, trying to every time research in the way that once we get, we could share in the community. So for example, this was the task to create a big extruder for recycling, to be able to share it with other workshops, to spread this knowledge further. Then we were working with a local artist, showing that 3D print could be used also for unique art pieces like this, for example, or some other where it's not only connected to the 3D print, but with the rapid prototyping technologies and programming and IoT stuff and so on. And we slowly get to the point where to really accept projects with commercial potential, but not only. But we consider that it's really needed to focus on those projects which addressing some development goals, like the sustainability or environmental issues or healthcare. So through our accelerator program, went a couple of projects which I would like to describe to you a little bit more if I still have some time. And one of these is actually
2 minutes,
okay,
Ondřej,
perfect.
thank you.
So one of these projects is, for example, this 3D printed seats, which actually are custom made, really unique because it's based on 18 parameters. So it means that men and women could have different shapes, and it follows your way of riding the bike and many other things. And in the end, this company gets even the first investment to be able to open the factory and locally produce this 3D printed custom-made seats. And now this year we are running another round of accelerator, focusing more on how to help the rural areas, especially the farming. So this could be one example of smart ear tags for cows who are distributed around the fields and meadows, to be able to control their health and protect them, for example, again, diseases and so on. So there are many other examples, but I would like to illustrate the principle, how we develop this idea of incubation or acceleration of local projects to be able to get almost all, at least majority of the supply chain here in Czech Republic and distributed the knowledge into the regions. So we feel that this community is crucial, and that's why I'm really appreciate that the smart communities is the topic of this panel, and I'm looking forward that we can discuss this later on, or if not today, hopefully soon on some other meetings of European makers and Fab Labs. Thanks for the invitation.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Ondřej, for your telling us all the wonderful things you're doing over in the Czech Republic. Now I'll give the floor over to Daniela Reggio, who's the heritage scientist. Now she's presently at the Spanish National Research Council, Institute of Heritage Sciences in Santiago de Compostela in Spain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can hear you, and
okay.
I can see the presentation now. So thank you.
Thanks, first of all, for the invitation to Laura and also to you, Riccardo. Thanks very much. And I wanted to tell you something more about my training as material scientist. And now here in Spain, I am working as a postdoctoral researcher with the Center of Heritage Sciences of the National Spanish Research Council. And I will be delivering this short presentation. Please send me some notice 2 minutes before the end, please, so I can stay on time.
Yes, I will.
Thanks. So I'm part of a group of interdisciplinary research on material culture and formalization processes of cultural heritage. So previously I was dealing with the development of analytical methods for the realization of sensors for the analysis of surfaces of cultural heritage materials. And now I will be dealing with the analysis of earth and architecture material. And the project is, as I said before, about sustainability, tracing back sustainability and reconstructing the decision-making process through the technological analysis of earth and materials. So this 3-year project will be held partially in Spain and the rest in Mexico. Actually, first I will start from next month in Mexico for 2 years in collaboration with the Faculty of Physics and with Infrastructure of Heritage Science Research National in Mexico for the analysis, non-destructive analysis of cultural heritage materials there. And here I'll be back last year. So the idea is to link together all the material information on earth and materials, all the physical information on earth and materials to the human behavior. So trying to understand if these past behavior on the wasting, reusing certain materials for buildings, for vernacular and also for monumental buildings was connected to cultural values that can help us to understand better in the present the concept of sustainability. And then I will also in 2024, I will spend a full year trying to reconstruct with mock-ups these materials in the lab, and I'll measure them, trying to see if different proportions of sand and clay and water affect the not only the durability of the material, but that can be connected with some more intrinsic and cultural values that have changes in the eras, in the sites, in the cultural archaeological sites and historic sites that I will be studying. So I picked 3 different sites of Mexico. In the north, as you can see, there is a site that is also World Heritage Site of Casas Grandes in Paquimé. And this is all the complex that has been nominated of outstanding value, universal value, and is from since 2013 World Heritage Site. And then there is here Puebla.
Daniela?
Yes, what's up?
I think the presentation is still on the first slide. Could that be?
I see it in the right slide. I don't know what's up with that. What can I, maybe this way?
You can skip, and now we're on the 5th.
Okay, good. Was I don't know. Maybe you saw this. You saw the timeline before.
Sorry?
Did you see the timeline?
No, no.
Now you see it.
We're on slide 5 now.
Okay, then don't worry.
Okay, 4. Yeah, that's it. Now we can see it. You should share the screen.
Yeah, I was
At the moment. What we see is the PowerPoint app, not the presentation. We see the app. The program.
Do you see it now?
So you're on it. Yeah, you should be able to click it.
I don't know. I was sharing the presentation, so I don't know.
1 second, I'll pass you Enrico. It's much better than me.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
Probabilmente stai condividendo la schermata con la presentazione e non la schermata in cui presenti. Quindi se interrompi la presentazione e condividi lo schermo, quando vai in modalità presentazione dovremmo riuscire a vederti.
Ok, one moment. If I share the presentation, let's see, this works. You see it now?
Okay, we can see the timeline. Just try going 1 forward. So
the problem now?
Yeah, you've went forward. So go back. Now we've got the timeline. That's good.
Okay, sorry about that.
Now wait a second.
Yes.
We're on speaking on what? I don't know what page this is.
This is page 2.
Speaking of what? We can see good. Speaking of what? Okay.
Okay, then I told you the title, the timeline. I was telling you that in 2024 I was supposed to stay 1 year in the lab there in Mexico, dealing with basically mock-ups and simulations of these materials that I'm going to study. And in the previous time, I was supposed to go to different sites of Mexico, and I was showing you the sites. So in the north here, you can see maybe the pointer that shows you the site of Casas Grandes, Paquimé, is this one to the center down. And then Puebla, where you see the pyramid, famous, the big famous, one of the greatest in the world, that also is being made with earth and materials and with dry mud adobes. And also La Joya is another pyramid that is being discovered recently in 20 years ago, more or less. So I will focus on adobes and also on mortars and plasters, and I will try to reconstruct past techniques and to link this, as I said at the beginning, with modern concept of sustainability. And I wanted to point out that just for your curiosity, the production of concrete, cement and concrete, 1 pound of cement produces about 0.93 pounds of CO2. So Earth doesn't do that, and the idea is to understand why people decided in different societies and culture to give up building with earth and pass to these modern materials, and what they have lost and why they decided to go back in many instances to earthen materials. So the chemical and physical aspects of this study will help out to understand the decision-making process in the past. And I wanted just to quickly point out that, as Riccardo said at the beginning, big data and data in general, evidence is what we need more in cultural heritage. And definitely there are a lot of data available on cultural heritage sites, archaeological sites of many kinds, not only physical and chemical data, but also like flow of tourists, the problem, and also digitization is a very common practice in cultural heritage. There are many institutes devoted to do specifically this job, archives, and even Google Earth does that. The problem, as someone of you mentioned, is the connection of information between specialists, public, investors, and innovators. So the connection is the problem rather than the technology itself. And valorization is a terminology I would rather use instead of exploitation of cultural heritage, because there is no exploitation to be done on these kind of resources. We should innovate for sure, but in a way that is also respectful and made and starting from the knowledge rather than from the idea of making something out of cultural heritage. So this is at least my opinion, and I hope we can discuss later during the debate more.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Daniela. And now I'll give over the floor to Enrico Bassi, who is Coordinatore of Opendot, and who will be talking about a very interesting project, a European project he's working on together with another a great number of projects. So thank you. I'll just get the presentation ready.
Well, hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. And the topic is super interesting, and it's really fundamental to be able to speak about we create communities and not just talk about technologies. So before the project, if you don't mind, some notes that I took. So some of the things that emerged in the presentation is that on one hand, we have cultural heritage. Sometimes we consider cultural heritage only ancient things, but it's not the case. It's really about tradition, craftsmanship, what we have around here. So the history and the culture of the places. And on the other hand, we're talking about technologies that very often is seen as something cold, neutral, that is always the same everywhere. So somehow we have to figure out a way to start from the communities, as you were saying before. And I think that that's really the key point. So we are a fab lab that started from an interaction design studio that designs museums as well as interactive experiences. Called ... in Milan, but they did museums around the world and here in Rome as well. And because of that sensitivity, we always try to start from how human beings react to technologies and not try to force technologies on human beings. So this is a way to create communities, and sometimes creating communities is really in the small things, starting from best practices that you have to adjust to the place where you are, that you have to modify to fit the cultures and so on. So it's not something that you can replicate immediately around the world because you leverage on a neutral piece of technology and the operative system is the same everywhere. Human beings don't have the same operative systems. We have to adjust the solutions to the people. That means to co-design with them. So the specific case that I'm going to talk about, it's actually a European project in which we are involved, that it's based on the model that Tomas described at the beginning. So I'm sorry for the presentation in Italian. I misunderstood, but I will do my best to make it comprehensible for everybody. So what we're doing at the moment on the global scale is to think at the planet as a single big city. So it doesn't matter if we produce something on one side and ship it on the other, because in the end is globalization. What we are realizing is that this system is not necessarily the best one. And we need to switch to a system that is, again, an alternative vision. So it's moving informations and connect different parts of the world through nuclei that are capable, nodes of this network that are capable of transforming these digital informations back into real informations. Okay, so it's what Tomas was saying before, talking about the capability of digital fabrication to replicate locally an idea that is produced globally. The best examples is what happened during the pandemics, in which communities around the world get together, shared online informations. Prusa did a great job on that because a lot of projects came from their lab. And these solutions were used to produce face masks, to make face shields, to make face masks more comfortable, to adjust existing snorkeling masks to be temporary CPAP solutions. And that happened in an organically way, with no centralized coordination and based on communities and technology. So that was a glimpse, was a beta version of what we could create leveraging on international networks. So why do we have to switch from the existing model to the new one? Well, because the existing model is pretty fragile, even if we don't realize that. As soon as there's a problem, as soon as we have a pandemic, a war, or every other problem that impacts on the international level, but even smaller things, a ship that got stuck, and suddenly the entire transportation system suffer from that. And therefore the production on one hand and the users on the other. So thinking about more resilient alternatives force us to move from a purely economic system that works great the way it is to a community-based system that is not ignoring the economical part, it's just integrating it with a larger scope. So what's the idea of this European project? As you know, European projects are projects in which you are allowed to experiment even on extreme models with pretty far-fetched visions. So you don't have to be too close to the reality. And our concept was, what if we use manufacturing to regain within the city what used to be the space of manufacturing in the city, but not bringing back factories, but bringing back the capability of producing locally to serve the communities. That it's why we started to produce things. So the nice thing is that, again, distributed models, not every cities are working on the same topic, but they are working on the same philosophy. And actually here we have another pilot because we got the chance to meet here, and Barcelona is around here as well. So 3 pilots that met in these gathering events to get in contact even in person and not just online. So what are we doing in Milan? We are focusing on the model called the 15-minute city. The key idea is that you can create communities that are not self-sufficient in the sense of isolations, but self-sufficiency in the sense of completeness of services within 15 minutes walking distance or biking distance, so soft transportation distance. This means that you live in a city with all the benefits of the city, but you also live in a neighborhood with all the human connections of the neighborhood, all the local heritage of the neighborhood, all the peculiarity and the differences of your neighborhood. We are working in particular in Zona Tortona. If you're familiar with Milan, you've ever been there, it's a fancy place, in particular during the design week, because it used to be an industrial area that became a creative hub. And the promoters of the projects are different companies. I'm from Opendot, as I said before, that works together as a network in partnership with the municipality. And this is a key aspect. So when you want to have an impact on communities or creating communities, you can't hope to do everything by yourself. Actually, you have to diversify. And our skill as Fab Labs, and in particular as designers, is to be able to speak different languages and bring together the public administration on one hand, that might have policies interest, that might have capabilities of accelerating things, with the creative part. The talented tech startups, as you all are, together with the communities that can give feedback to the product, but also be beta tester or be, ambassadors of a change somehow. So this is based on a program that Milan ran for a while called Manifattura Milano, and it was really to talk about the manufacturing skills within a city like Milan that you don't think it's a productive city in the end. We did that through international creative minds. For instance, when we think about plastic, it's hard to think about plastic as a local sourced material, because rarely it is. But it could become locally sourced if it's recycled plastic. So whatever it's a problem, like recycling plastic, could become a resource, and actually a local resource. So these were just experiments on the local scale, small production, actually reusing the leftovers or the wrong prints in labs and startups to create new objects. But the key point was really to put together an international talent, a local network, a local startup, machines that comes from an international project, and create an ecosystem that is capable of processing and transforming a problem into a resource. Another example of network is a set of merchandise that we created, done again, that we empowered more than created, done by two international designers that took the linen from high-end historical hotels and use it as a raw material. Again, creativity here, it's a mean to explore before the legislation is ready. In two words, in Italy, it's very difficult to process waste material because the legislation is very strict. So as soon as something becomes a waste, you can't touch it. You can't use it in any possible way. Okay, so the partnership here is to intersect a resource before it becomes waste. In hotels, in particular high-end hotels, the linen, the bed sheets needs to be perfectly white, no small stain, no small rip, and the material is beautiful and high quality. As soon as there's a small damage, that needs to be replaced, and usually it's thrown away. But that could be a source that is used locally by, for instance, a social tailor shop that creates products that could be sold, high quality products. And at the same time, it's also training the local community, in particular, migrant women's. So these are just two very small examples of what could be created, leveraging on the networks and the connection you can create locally. Training, of course, is fundamental. So we put together all the people that were doing sustainable products and connect them in a path and visits to bring people to know what's done locally. We created the training materials, talking, for instance, about very advanced innovations such as biomaterial, but making it easy and comprehensible for the carpenters or the designer or the student. Otherwise, these innovations don't reach the people, as well as a set of lessons about circular economy and this very interesting economical framework that can help people to change their mindset. So this is just an example of the kind of things you could do working on the community first and putting together the different things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Enrico. That was a wonderful wrap up also. He gave us a lot of food for thought. And it's exactly what we were hoping to achieve through our meeting. So now we have 1 second. I'll just okay. So so now we have the sharing session. Okay, I'll give them.
Yes.
In this sharing session, very quickly, Andrea Romagnoli will be coordinating and getting a number of questions which will be coming across.
Yes.
And Simona Mendola will be looking after the design thinking. We've put up a Miro board where we can actually visualize all the keywords which come out. Many of them, Enrico kindly brought them out. Okay, so now I think we're ready with the Miro board and
yes.
We can continue. Okay.
Thank you very much, Riccardo. Hello, everybody. Unfortunately, we are running a little bit late, so I will really spend only a couple of words and especially try to introduce you what's going to happen next. Enrico was so nice that made a wrap up of what we were saying, but the most important thing today, I think, it's an occasion to be an icebreaker. Finally, we see people all across the world here, thanks to ICE conveyed, and we have at least 13 startups present in the room. What we'd like to have here is contact, the first contact. We have organized tables over there. We think that the best way to make it effective is that I will kindly invite each of you to introduce himself here at the podium, just simply saying name, affiliation, the company representing or the institution, and what you're looking for, possibly by sector, fintech, agri-food, cultural heritage, whatever. And we will ask the same to the startups that are present so that we make the networking cocktail and speed networking more effective. My colleague Simona is presenting here some of the keywords that have been highlighted during the debate today. And I think that it's the classic mind map, bringing some words. We will make available this Miro page. Yes, and of course it will be here for your perusal during the networking if you have also any question. So I have only one space for one question, very urgent if you have any, because of course we can have the chance to talk during the tables. But if there is one urgent question, I will be very happy to give you the floor. I terrified you. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Yes. Here you go. No. Okay. So can I please start asking you if you can introduce yourself, starting like that? Just it's a turbo carousel, we call it. So 20 seconds to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. Taylor McPartland, CEO of Scale Health, and I'm looking to meet with anyone that's in the healthcare and health space. Thank you.
Angelo Del Priore, HP Tech Ventures, investor, artificial intelligence, edge computing, AR, VR, and a bunch of different areas that are related to HP.
Thank you.
Ciao, Sebastiano Peluso from the Italian Trade Agency. I manage the innovation desk in Los Angeles, and also I'm in the new Italian Innovation Center in San Francisco. So we provide help for the startups to enter the US market. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Yuri Navarro with Canada Ventures from Canada. We invest in companies and also help them with accessing the North American market.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicolas Cañas. I'm CEO of City, a last mile delivery platform from Baltics, right? And of course, I'm looking for here like a new experience and a meeting like all of the startups like that are looking for expand to different markets. So yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, Tomas, managing partner in Montes Capital. It's a venture. Yeah, closer. Okay. Managing partner in Montes Capital from Poland. We invest in life science, agrotech, plus industry 4.0. So looking for targets.
Thank you.
So I'm Matthias from iFixit Europe. We are doing repair. I'm interested in talking about sustainability through repair.
Thanks.
They call me Dr. JJ, so easier for you, JJ. Okay. From CP Group, we are one of the largest conglomerate in the world across all spectrum of verticals and business. So we look at all kind of startup to invest and partner. So
thank you.
Hi, my name is Dorothy Thalangso, just in short oil. Yeah, I'm from CP as well. I'm looking in terms of the sustainability.
Yes, good morning. I'm Francesca Romana Lanza. I'm from Rome. I work with the technology office and we cooperate in bringing here the foreign delegates.
Hello, everybody. I'm also from Roma. I'm from the Global Startup Program. If you're interested in launching or making your startups grow this year, also next year, we're doing this initiative, Global Startup, to accelerate or incubate your startups in many different fields.
Thank you. I would like first to finish the investor side. So if you can hold your hand if you're investors of each delegation. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Attila Kader from Startup Campus. So we are incubation level investors located in Hungary, but we have an international soft landing program for startups from multiple countries. And also on an industrial level, we are very diverse. So we invest in medtech companies, we invest in AI companies, like the gentleman right over here. And we also in sustainable solutions. So I think we'll have some common topics. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Claudia Cigany, also from Hungary, Budapest, and I'm an investment manager at Impact Ventures, the first impact venture capital fund in the Central Eastern European region. So we are focusing startups, early stage startups with social and environmental impact. And I'm also looking for partnership opportunities or possible co-investors for our portfolio companies. Thank you.
Are you from each?
Hi, I'm Alia Ramji from MT Ventures in Canada. We help companies access the Canadian market through legal help, legal support.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pratik Gadkar from India, and I'm a director of Technoventa Innovations. We act as a bridge between startups and the ideas in startups, and we help them to create infrastructure, labs, and I also run a community makerspace called Fab Lab Nagpur. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I'm Prerak Gala from India. So
I am the community manager at Riddle, which is a sector agnostic startup incubator. We have supported over 130 startups from across sectors. And we organize a event called as Maker Mela, which is Asia's largest platform for makers. So we are looking to invite all the makers and companies at our event in India. Yeah.
Any other investors?
Hello, I'm Paloma Castellano. I'm the director of Guaira Spain. Guaira is the CVC from Telefónica. We invest globally in a startup that have to do with Telefónica's current or future business. So it's kind of sector agnostic, I would say, because we do not only invest in network, but in many things such as Web3, metaverse, and many other stuff, health tech as well. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Luca Iedema from Digital Catapult London, United Kingdom. We are a sort of government-funded body that accelerates the early adoption of advanced digital technologies. We act as acceleration. We create acceleration programs, act as a bridge between the academia, the research, and the industry. And ideally, we work in the manufacturing creative sector with technologies like 5G, blockchain, distributed systems, more in general, immersive technologies, and Internet of Things.
Thanks very much. Any other investor that has to? Yeah, thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Admir. I represent Tangent Line, which is a Warsaw-based co-investment fund. Here I'm looking for co-investors and startups in the sectors like smart manufacturing, green energy, and new materials. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your presentation helped us also with my colleagues then to help also put our companies and startups in dialogue with you. So, oh, sorry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brian Tomsange. I work with Hive Collab. I'm a project manager and digital inclusion lead. Hive Collab is Uganda's premier co-working space and incubation space that supports startups to scale their operations in Uganda. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I will now pass to the either startups or companies or stakeholders present here.
Okay, I'm Roberto I'm co-founder of FabLab in Zagreb, Croatia, producer of Maker Faire in Zagreb, and yeah, maybe something what can be interesting. We have Adriatic Green Lab initiative, which is a safe haven for all creative people to develop affordable and inclusive solution for remote communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Kindly ask the startups just to say also what they're looking for.
Hi to everyone, Pierluigi Simonetta, CEO of Beam Digital. We are a deep tech company focused on IoT, 5G, and AI, especially for smart cities and industries.
Thank you very much. If you please can raise your hand if you are a company. Okay, thanks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Francesco Mennillo. I'm pre-sales for Atos, Italy, in hospitality, retail, and transportation and logistics. We provide any kind of activities in IT, in ICT. We are partner, for example, of Olympic Games. And we are installing an high-performance computing in Bologna with Cineca, and one of the 10th most important PC server in high-performance computing in all over the world.
Thank you very much. Please, can you raise your hands so that I am? Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cristiano De Vita. I work for PrusaLab Barcelona. That is a place where we work with technology for the cultural heritage in many ways, such as for support for restoration, valorization, digitization, and most of all for management of cultural heritage with web platform and other things such as this.
Thank you. We were having one more investor, so I can give the floor.
Hi everyone. I'm Sevak Babikian. I'm part of Beritech in Beirut. I come from Lebanon. We are an incubator, so we run a few programs, accelerators and incubators, focusing mainly on agriculture technology, food technology, and clean technologies.
Thanks. Companies, please raise your hand, either startups or company. Thanks.
Hi everyone, Alessandro Rossetta, CEO and founder of FlimLabs. At FlimLabs, we develop devices and software for using light as a non-invasive tool of analysis. Our technology is a biophotonics-based technology that can be used in agri-food, life sciences, and environmental sciences as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Hi, everybody. I am the CEO of Eremos. We are a spin-off of University Campus Biomedico of Rome, one of the major healthcare facilities in Italy. We are developing a body air network of sensors to seamlessly monitor patients that are undergoing like oncology care, so that are enrolled in clinical trials, to monitor all the main vital parameters, including pain, in an objective way. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Hi everyone, I'm Giorgia Leonardi, CEO of BeAware, a startup that deals with IoT for waste production monitoring and to use that data for collection logistic optimization.
Thank you very much. Next one. Okay, one company is arriving. Yulia, want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Yulia Galicheva. I'm founder of a communication agency that's focused on startups and tech companies. It's called A Better Place. So that's it.
Thank you. So is there, oh, sorry.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christian Salvatori. I'm the general manager of Brocasia. We specialize in software solution for wearable devices like smart glasses and augmented reality. We have developed a solution for remote assistance, training, as well as performing and executing workflows by using these kind of technologies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So these are the moment all the presenters. So I think that at the moment we can leave the ground to make you free. Now there will be the networking lunch served here. But with my colleague, we'll try at least if you can position in some of these tables. We have put some hashtags. I mean, very generic, but this is not mandatory. Basically, we're just trying to give a place for you if you want to talk with somebody. With my colleagues, we'll help companies to talk with some of you. We have already understood a little bit the sectors that are present. And so enjoy.